Okay, Miss Celebration, that's her name, from the court in Kolding, once again said that violence is perfect when it comes to children and taking care of them. And a person who's been the victim of violence from the father is to blame for the cooperation problems that are. So I've asked her to answer the question, do you think that the victim of violence is to blame for the violence? Because that's what she's saying with the sentence, saying that, well, they are to stay with the father because of the cooperation problems. But who is to blame for it if you don't agree and you get hit in the face, or you're thrown to the floor, or something, yelled at, your hair pulled, or something like that? Who's to blame for it? Is it the one who experiences the violence, which is what Mrs. Celebration in the court in Kolding in Denmark says, that she thinks that I'm to blame for the cooperation problems, and she thinks that the man who's been violent to me is very good at going to the school and kindergarten, saying that he wants to cooperate, he wants to listen. Yes, it's like he's always done with his daughters as well. And when I lived with him, he went back to his daughters, drank a lot of beer and wine, and yelled and threw things around, and then he went to the school again and said yes, he wants to cooperate, and whatever the girl wanted to say to the school and the teachers, and she would just say it, and the more they said, the more it sounded like they were just making it up, because it's so crazy what's going on at his place. And the same with me when I talk about what's going on at his place and what I've experienced. Well, he's got a violence sentence in the same court, Kolding. And I don't know if they read because it happened while my son was watching the violence. And I don't know, I went to get some money in, these cash machines. And it was before he was going to pick up our son. But he was always there before time. So I thought 1 hour before, I think it was almost 1 hour before he was going to pick my son up, I went to the cash machine, and he drove, he parked behind us, and he came out and yelled, and I don't know why I was stupid to say that it was because he was going to pick up my son, because I actually don't remember, and I think I said that in court too, that I don't remember what it was about. I think it could be anything, because he could get angry if you took a wrong step to the wrong side, or you hadn't closed the window when it had just started raining 2 seconds ago, and you hadn't made it to the window to close it before it started raining, or 10 drops had fell. So so much yelling and screaming and getting stuck in snow and sand on purpose, and drunk talk, keeping me awake when I was going to work, and keeping his girls awake, and yelling and screaming, and going to swimming competitions with his daughter, totally drunk, hadn't been sleeping all night, and just sat there drunk and sleeping in the so it's so crazy that she blames me for cooperation problems, since I've been working in the same part of Denmark. So they're actually shooting at themselves, saying that, well, I've worked at their kindergartens down there and schools, and I've always cooperated easily with other people, no problem at all, never any communication problems or arguments, no parents have complained, nothing at all. All the parents were satisfied with my work, co-workers, no problems. I got they wrote nice things about me when I left there, so nothing to blame me for there, nothing at all. So what she must say is that if you have children with a man who's been violent, well, she's too afraid or she wants to celebrate because her name is Mrs. Celebration. And I know the names they use are because they don't want us to find them, because anyone can hide behind that name, even the one who hit me with his car or whatever. I don't know. It could be. They use these pseudonyms, and I don't even have my name in there. They just says I'm a pseudonym, or I don't know why, because they must think that I'm just anonymous, nothing or something. And it doesn't matter how much. My son has told social workers about violence against him, about sexual assaults. He's got a sentence for violence against me. And another time I was at the emergency hospital. So many things that should make him unable to take care of children. And just because he says, well, they say they have social, mental, and physical issues that are so heavy that they need to stay with him. So in order to make it worse, or because they didn't have those problems when they were living with me. So they appeared, and I've seen them with dirt in their hair and dirty clothes, and I don't know what I've done. I've asked myself for years, actually since my brother committed suicide, when it seemed the society started hunting me with so much shit, and I have just been waiting to get the answer, what have I done? And now it seems that it's gotten worse, and since they want to take my children and place them with a violent alcoholic to ruin their lives, what have I done? Do they think I killed my brother? Because I didn't. He committed suicide. He went to the ocean to drown himself. So, or what is it? Because I haven't done anything. There's nothing they can. I'm used to working with children for so many years. He's violent and he's a drunkard, and so I don't know what to do. I hate every second of my life. Every second is just waiting for my children, like it's been for the last 3 years. Every second of my life, I hate everything. When I talk to people, it's even the rest of the family, the two who are there. It's like sometimes I feel like the communication is about nothing at all, and also friends who say the absolute wrong things that just. It's so every second of my life is just hell, and I'm asking myself, what have I done? What is my? Because I don't know. I mean, I was with this violent man, and it was hell on earth, and I got out of it with my son, and he signed that he could live with me, so there should be no problem. Once he had already done that, he should be able to take that back. My children were happy with me. Now they don't seem happy. They seem like they're in some military camp where girls are not supposed to say anything, and boys are going to have to be tough and broken down. I don't know what's going on in this world, but it's going the absolute wrong way. And every second of my life is just waiting, and it's been like for so long. Even when the children were with me, and he kept calling the social services about this and that and dinosaurs. My son was supposed to play with dinosaurs, and when my son came back from his father's place, he said, I asked him, what have you done with your father? We have played with dinosaurs. He said, okay, but I thought that was the problem he had. So he said because he was too attached to these dinosaurs. But when they were at his place, he told me when he came home we played with dinosaurs all the time. So, and why shouldn't a boy be allowed to play with dinosaurs? When he went to live with his father, he started playing, right before he started finding interest in Star Wars swords. And when he came down there, he wasn't allowed to play with those either. He was going to play with what the other children wanted, not what he wanted to play with. So therefore, when he was in the playground, he was walking around with a stick, from a tree that he found, and just like in his own world, I'm not allowed to play with anything I want. Why? So I'm just gonna walk around with this and try to find something that I know they're not allowed to take these swords to the playground or in the kindergarten, but he was always, because I said to them, sometimes it needs to be what he wants to do, not what the other children want. And she said, yeah, it's about deciding everything that they're going to play, right? And then afterwards she said that that he should just play with what the other children wanted. If they wanted to play cowboys, he should do that. If it was just follow and not ever take the lead and decide anything. So that's how they look at my children down there, and they are so crazy. Even after a traffic accident where the police had been haunting me for months, making drug and alcohol tests and driving after me all the time, and I had to ask them, do you have an interest in me? Do you want to rape me, or what do you want? Or not rape, are you interested in me? Why are you driving around like that after me all the time? I'm not a criminal. I've never been a criminal. They were there all the time. When I went to a kiosk to get the gas on my car, anywhere, they were right behind me, always watching me. Also, when I went out to buy the computer, they gave me directions on the phone, asking me, do you have enough gasoline? And I said I think so. They knew exactly where I was going, what's the address, and when I drove back, there wasn't enough gasoline, and I was hit from behind. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was the police who has done that, because they were so angry at me, yelling at me in the car, saying that, do you want to commit suicide? And I said, no, I'm fighting to get my children back. I haven't thought about suicide at all, because somebody had said that outside Aldi, that he thought I wanted to commit suicide. And I said, well, so I talked, because he was talking like that to me, so I talked back to him like that, saying that I am not going to commit suicide. I'm fighting for my children. I have not thought about doing that at all, and I hadn't. After that, I couldn't talk, and I was cut up in the face with what looked like a knife, and the police that had knew what way I was going, and then they took me to the hospital to some guy from the police who had Familia tattooed on the arm, so I thought he was, loyal to Familia member or something like that. Drove me with another cop to buy the shoes. They locked me in, and they didn't look at my body to find out what had happened during the accident. I just had to train my own language and learn how to talk again. My voice is singing, it's still, and they didn't want to look at me, and they wrote down, she doesn't want us to find doctors to. No, that's not true. I asked them, can I get a doctor to look at me? Can I talk to this and that doctor to make sure that this and that is all right? No. And they didn't want to take blood tests when they gave me medicine for high metabolism. Then they got the idea that they wanted to give me medicine for some psychiatric thing that I don't need, and I don't take that. So I had to go to some complaint with talking to people like this on the computer, and they decided I was not going to get that psychiatric medicine, and I don't need it because it makes me when you've it makes me like I can, stay awake for days and still accomplish the same as without. And I didn't do that when my kids were there, but I've never needed the medication because I don't have the diagnosis that they said I have, and I've always argued with them saying I don't have the diagnosis, I don't have the symptoms, and they just didn't want to listen. So finally I just said, well, I'm not taking the medication, and it worked. I don't need it. I don't have those symptoms of any kind. But it's like when they started writing all kinds of shit about you, they just keep going because it gets more and more fun, it looks to them, to write all kinds of shit, to stalk you. The police, it's been stalking, it's been harassment, and I think I've made a case in court that I'm going to, about what they have done in the case with my ex and children and things like that, because they've helped him. It's like they worked for him, it seems. So we didn't deserve this, my kids and I. My kids deserve to be with a person like me, who's able to take care of children, who doesn't drink, who's not a violent person. If I get upset, I turn it in against myself, and it would never happen in front of my children anyway, because when I work with children and when I'm with my children, I'm happy. So I don't get upset like that. Right now I do, because there's so much corruption in this country, and this Mrs. Celebration, which she calls herself, which makes it even more sadistic, doesn't read the papers, I think, in the case, and she doesn't understand. I don't know. I think somebody should be violent to her and take her through the same shit, and telling her it's your own fault. You can't work in court because this other judge was violent to you, and you have communication problems, so you can't work there. You have to go home and sit there, and nobody wants to hire you anywhere. So and they'll just hit you with a car, and etc., etc. Steal something from her, all her friends and family and everything. Leave her all on her own and see if she likes that. And make sure that her language is affected as well, and something she loves doing that she can't do anymore, like me and my singing. I'm educated in song and music, so it's pretty hard not to be able to sing like I used to. Well, not all the time, at least. Well, not at all. I haven't gotten my voice totally back. It got back, but then it got worse. So Mrs. Celebration she should have someone be violent to her and let her go through all the shit I've gone through. Blame it on her. Say it's your own fault. You're to blame for the violence. If you can't cooperate, and even though she can, they'll just say, you can't cooperate with the other judge, so you have to go home, just sit there, and we'll just make fun of you in court and everywhere, and we'll let the police follow you around. How would she like that? Mrs. Celebration, or whatever she's called.